Good morning, and welcome to Keycode Media's Inputs Outputs. Finally, back in the studio. I'm your host, Jeff Sangpil. Our featured product of the day is the LiveU LU800, an all-in-one production-level field unit. Our friends at LiveU have had a busy few months, pivoting from getting ready for NAB in Vegas, which canceled on all of us, to getting every major television talk show operating remotely. So we here in America could discuss the important things, like the bookcase behind Trevor Noah, or the colored pencils in front of Jimmy Fallon. LiveU's technology has been instrumental in keeping us entertained with new programming from locations we all never thought we'd be broadcasting from. So we've invited George Klippel at LiveU to give us a brief feature deep dive, followed by a live Q&A with you, the audience. Before we jump into that, I wanted to briefly introduce Keycode Media to those that are new to our community. Keycode Media is an industry-leading systems integrator with a small army of engineers specialized in broadcast, post-production, and audiovisual solutions. If you need equipment, we have it. If you have a complex problem, we've likely solved it. If you need support, our engineers are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. As I mentioned before, at the end of the LiveU presentation, we'll invite all of you to participate in a live Q&A. Please submit your questions via the Vimeo, Facebook Live, or YouTube chat. We'll try our best to answer all of them. Let's dive into it. George, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Keycode Media. Today we're going to take a look at our game-changing LU800 field unit. It's the first unit ever made that combines multi-camera production with mission-critical transmission. It's one unit with unlimited possibilities. So let's dive right in and take a look at what the LU800 has to offer.
The first thing you'll notice right out of the box is the unit's sleek new design. It's thinner and slightly longer than our existing LU600, and the backpack is more compact as well. The unit weighs in just under 5 pounds and still manages to pack in an onboard 4-hour battery. There are 3 main versions of the product: the Pro 1, which gives you 1 camera in and out and up to 4 channels of audio. The Pro 2 gives you up to 2 cameras in and out and up to 8 channels of audio. And finally, the Pro 4, up to 4 cameras in and out with up to 16 channels of audio. The Pro 2 and Pro 4 versions also support 4K with one 12G SDI connection. LiveU built this unit around 5G technology, bringing guaranteed bandwidth in congested environments, enabling higher quality and support of higher resolutions, plus super low latency transmissions. As with all our units, the LU800 uses bonded cellular to provide the most robust connectivity and resiliency to feed from anywhere in over 186 countries worldwide. The LU800 is uniquely capable of supporting what we call REMI, or at-home production solutions. This allows for multi-camera production of LiveU sporting events, news programs, corporate events, or any type of production entirely at home. This means keeping above-the-line talent and equipment in a centralized facility and significantly reducing the number of crew on site. As you can see, the LU800 has 4 SDI inputs, all of which can be fed back to a receive server in your studio control room, all fully synchronized. For larger productions, these units can be stacked to support as many camera angles as your production requires. Although this is not a specific feature of the LU800, it's important to point it out. We've just added a feature called IP Pipe. It gives you the ability to control IP-based cameras like PTZ, for example, for remote shading, pan, tilt, and more. It's an amazing complement to the LU800 and the entire LiveU product portfolio.
So let's get back to the 800 and talk about a couple of different modes that we have on the unit. One is called multi-high quality mode and the other is called switcher mode. The next slide I have will explain it in a little bit better detail.
Multi-high quality mode sends all 4 high quality feeds back to your quad output server, fully synchronized, where you can switch it live like any other production. Switcher mode basically turns your LU800 into its own miniature video switcher. We can send one high quality path, and at the same time we can also send back a lower resolution quad split with all 4 feeds as proxy views. You can select on the LU800 field unit which feed you want to come back to output to your LU2000 receive server. Both of these modes provide optimal coverage of time-sensitive productions and interviews, as well as reduces cost as compared to satellite or fiber transmissions. Most importantly, the quality of your transmission on the LU800 has never been better. The unit supports up to 4K P60 resolution using 50 megabits per second HEVC encoding. Also, we've increased the number of embedded audio channels so that your mix-minus can also be done from your centralized facility. So you can feed up to 4 embedded audio channels per SDI output, or 16 on SDI output 1. We've also incorporated a wider color depth and span, enabling 10-bit Hdr support. This is great for sports where capturing the action and details is critical to a great game. The LU800 has a built-in 7-inch capacitive touchscreen for easy field control of the unit and gives you a clear, crisp view of your shots when in multi-camera mode. Additionally, you have dual power supplies, 2 Ethernet, and 2 Wi-Fi interfaces. The 800 has 7 built-in dual SIM modems, and you can configure your unit with 1, 2, or 3 5G modems built in at time of purchase. So you can have the best of both worlds, 5G and 4G LTE combined, for the best signal coverage that's available anywhere you go. All of the other features you know and love in our other products like tally, video return, IFB, intercom, remote control, and more are still found in the LU800. So as I said at the beginning, the LU800 is truly one unit with unlimited possibilities.
Well, that's going to wrap up my high-level overview of the LU800, LiveU's newest field unit in our product portfolio. And to get the real feel for this unit and to really exercise it, you've got to get a demo of this thing. So, get a hold of your Key Code Media rep or your local reseller and get out there and test it out, try it out, and you'll be amazed at all that it can do. So right now, I'll turn it back over to you guys at Key Code Media, and let's dive into some Q&A, and I'm excited to answer any questions that are out there. Thanks, Key Code. Get out there, test it out, try it out, and you'll be paid all that. Great.
All right. Thanks for joining us, everybody, today. The chat is open. Please put your questions in the YouTube chat, the Facebook Live chat, or the Vimeo chat. And let's get it kicked off. See what we got coming in. George, what makes the LU800 better than the 600?
Well, hey, thanks, Jeff. Changed my headsets there to get a better, clearer hearing of what you're asking today, and that's a great question. There's quite a few things, but I think the couple that I'll point out right off the bat, it's a multi-input device, and that's one of the biggest things to point out. Taking one camera, 2, 3, or 4 into a single device is, first of its kind in our industry. Secondly, it supports 5G right out of the box, right? And that's huge for a lot of people. The other thing that's important is HDR support, right? And also 10-bit HEVC encoding, 70 megabits per second streaming if you want to do that, plus 16 audio channels. And the list is kind of endless. You can check out the data sheet on the website if you want to see every single thing that this thing has to offer. But I want to also mention that we're not sunsetting the LU600 at all. It's one of our most popular selling units out there. But those are just a couple of the differences between an LU800 and the LU600.
Awesome. Orange Dragon is asking any info on the other end, the receive unit.
Yeah, thanks, Orange Dragon. So the LU800 can work with the existing servers that you have, the LU2000. So if you have the Pro 1, the single output LU800, you can actually work with the LU2000 that you have today. And if you're going to use the Pro 2 or Pro 4, you'll have to talk with your sales rep and talk about configuration and what you might do with that, but you might need to use the quad server depending on how many streams you'll be sending out. So safe to say that your LU2000 you have today is going to work, but you may need to go up to one of the quad servers because you'll be pushing out many more streams into that unit and much more bandwidth.
Sounds good. The fun about live Q&A is someone else said existing LiveU server. Can I use it? Access Sacramento asking what the delay is for multi-mode when 4 cameras are involved.
The delay is sub-second delay with four cameras. We're able to get down to 0.8 seconds, and I believe even less than that. I have my tech standing by, Kung T, who is on the line with us today, just in case I miss anything. But I believe it's 0.8 seconds sub-second delay with 4 cameras.
So I'm assuming that also means that's the general latency because Shawnee was asking that same question.
Yeah.
Awesome. Jim is asking, will the data link support scoreboard data streams?
Ooh, Jim, I'm not 100% sure on that question. And also, I do want to correct the last answer I gave. It's 0.8 seconds. It is 0.8 seconds if you're on bonded cellular and 0.6 if you're on Ethernet. So, but can you ask that last question again just to make sure I'm hearing it correctly?
Sure. Will the data link support scoreboard data streams?
That is a great question that I can't answer. I will find out, though. If we can get that person's email, I will get an answer back to you. That's a super question, but I don't know that answer.
Awesome. Follow-up from Access Sacramento. Did you say 70 megs of dedicated internet capacity is needed at the receive site server location?
No, I said we can stream up to 70 megabits per second. That was what I said. And on the sports question, I did get an answer. The answer is yes, we can do that. And I want to give a shout out to my colleague Janelle for setting me straight on that one.
Perfect.
I love live webinars.
That's true. So then with the 70 meg of not dedicated, so it's scalable.
Yep.
What's the maximum bandwidth that you would need on the receive side, or the minimum bandwidth and the maximum bandwidth you need on the receive side?
Yeah, for the servers, you need minimum 10 megs up and 10 megs down. And then you'll need to scale that up if you're using the Pro 2 or Pro 4. So it just depends on how much you're using or what version of the unit that you're getting.
Sounds good. AV Cooperative is wondering what is required on the back end, what type of cloud or on-prem service is required?
Yeah, so when you're using the unit, you're required to have a physical server in the back, and you can also use a cloud server. So you'll get the LU2000 server, or we also have a LU4000 4K server, and that's what you would use for your back end to receive the signal from the LU800.
Very cool. Another question, what is the bandwidth available on the return video from the studio?
What is the bandwidth available on the return video from the studio?
I would think that actually means how much can you scale that? What can be the quality of the video you're sending back for return to the talent in the field?
So the return video is coming back from we have a video return server that's going to send the video feed back to the LU800, and that quality is coming in, I believe it's at, I want to say 720. I believe it's 720p. That's what it is. Yep.
Okay. So probably about 6 megabits, I would think. Just rule of thumb, I think. Moving on, how does the upgrade work from going from a Pro 1 to the Pro 2 or to the Pro 4?
Sure. So you can purchase a Pro 1, and you could, at time of purchase, you can add a Pro 2 license or a Pro 4 license. Or you could purchase a Pro 1 and later on down the line, add on a Pro 2 or a Pro 4. It's a software upgrade. So at any time, you could actually get the upgrade to the other models as you go. So it's just simply a software upgrade to the actual unit. So it's a license. There's no hardware change required, and it's very simple to do in the future. So you could either get it right at time of purchase or later on down the line as you needs change or needs grow in the future.
Follow-up question on that. No Pro 3?
No Pro 3, yeah. So it goes 1, 2, and then 4, and the 4 will allow you to do all 4 cameras.
That's one of those broadcast things that 3 is usually never used. What are the details on the IP pipe feature of the 800? What kind of cameras can I control?
Yeah, so IP pipe's coming in version 8.5, due out later this summer. And it's not for the LU8, just for the LU800. It's actually available for all the products that we have that support version 8.5, which would be like the LU300, the LU600, LU800. And really what it is it's a layer 2 bridge between the unit and the studio. It allows you to use any low bit rate protocol over this bridge. So you're able to control IP-based cameras like PTZ or any other devices like that. And you can use actual camera manufacturers' hardware in the studio to control like shading, pan, tilt, and zoom. And you can do things like basically control even IP-based intercom systems. So it's really a wonderful protocol that a lot of people are talking about and very, very excited about. And it connects through our server via Ethernet. So it's just a layer 2 bridge. So it's very nice.
The other beautiful thing. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to say it's like a 1 megabit pipe. So you can pretty much control anything over this layer 2 protocol.
Excellent. And the other good thing about live webinars is the follow-up question comes in just as you're answering it. So don't need to ask about the studio comms. Jim had a follow-up or a different question. What about the 5G? Can that be added after purchase?
Currently, no. It has to be added at time of purchase. So you can get the 5G modems. You could purchase 1, 2, or 3 of the modems at time of purchase. And what's nice about these two, just another point to clarify that wasn't made during my presentation, is that these modems are what are called auto switching. So they will recognize if 5G is there, they're using it no matter what, right? But if 5G is not there, they auto switch to 4G LTE. So they're always going to be working for you no matter what. But currently, they're at time of purchase only. And then as 5G units come out and, as USB modems for 5G come out, you'd be able to possibly use those. But right now, it's at time of purchase.
Makes sense. And with stepping down, you're completely future protected. So, because some areas of the country don't have 5G just yet.
Right.
Paul is wondering, can you walk us through a music/concert with contributors at different locations?
So can I walk them through musics and concerts with contributors at other locations? Yes,
at different locations.
Yeah, so that sounds to me like our REMI workflow, potentially. or what we call our at-home workflow. So if you had people at a concert or at other locations, you would be able to use multiple units and send those signals back to a control room where you'd be able to take all the feeds into your server and do your production, do your lower thirds, add lower thirds, graphics, etc., and then send the signal out to a destination of your choice, a CDN or out to broadcast, etc. I hope that answered that question.
I think so. Joe is asking, is there a LiveU certification available? I'm a satellite uplink field engineer looking to add to my skill set.
Yeah, so we actually have something that we offer to all of our users. It's called LiveU University. And you actually, at the end of the courses on the LU800 and 600 and all of our other products, we do offer a certificate that you can print out and use and add to your skill set, if you will. So it's on the 800 and the 600 and LiveU Central, our web-based control interface, and you'll be able to actually take those courses anytime that you want. So it's called LiveU University, and that's something you could log into.
Awesome. And there was a follow-up from Paul on the concert question. What gear would be needed for that?
So really, any of our equipment will work in that REMI type of workflow that I just described. So you could use our 300 or 600, the 800, and then you would need a server of the appropriate size and spec for that system. So if you had 4 units, you'd want a quad output server. If you had 8 units, you'd want 2 quads, etc. So it's really going to be, you really need 3 things when you talk about a LiveU environment, right? You need a encoder at one end, which is the field units, then you need a data plan for transmission, then you need a server or decoder on the other end, right? Those are the 3 components that make up the LiveU workflow or LiveU environment. And that's what you would need for that REMI type of environment.
Very cool. Will an LU800 work with the extender?
Actually, it will. The extender will work with the LU800. Either one, we have both. We have a tripod extender as well as a roof-mounted extender, and they'll both work with the unit in both Ethernet mode or ubiquity mode. So we have a Wi-Fi device ubiquity that'll connect up to 800 meters from the unit. So both of those will work with the tripod, or excuse me, with the LU800.
Makes it a lot easier to deal with a lot of venues.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I guess the last question that's floating here is a mention of 2 power inputs. How does that redundant work?
Yeah, so on the power units, we actually have two power inputs. One is for battery input, and one is a additional power input. So you really have 3 power sources on the unit, right? You have an internal battery that's 4 hours. So we'll give you 4 hours of battery input running on that. Then you have an external battery that you can connect to and just regular power. So you've got plenty of battery coverage on this thing to kind of connect from anything, almost anywhere. So you're able to really, use it and make sure you're covered out in the field wherever you're at by any kind of power source that you may need.
Awesome. Access Tolome is asking, I'm in a rural mountainous area. Any thoughts on how I can determine whether my local service is viable for using LiveU?
As long as you have internet connection on your phone, you'll be able to use LiveU. If you have no connectivity on your cell phone, we don't make internet bandwidth magically, but as long as you have internet connection, we'll be able to make a connection to a LiveU. HEVC, our HEVC codec is able to get connections down to 1.5 megs and still put out 1080. So it's really a wonderful codec that works well with our LRT, our LiveU Reliable Transport, which does things like forward error correction, acknowledge and resend, and that's kind of our secret sauce to all of our units. But as long as you have a cell phone connection and can make a phone call, we'll get you a connection on the LiveU units.
Sounds good. And just from my experience, I've used speed test apps to determine just how much bandwidth I've got available on my smartphone. So you can just download one of those, just do a search on your Android store or Apple store for a bandwidth tester, and you've already been given the metrics, the 1.5 as the minimum. So if you're hitting that, you can make this work for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a great thing to do as far as, basically, pre-production meetings and stuff, wherever you're going to go, always ahead of time, check those just to make sure you're going to be in an area with coverage, what type of coverage. You always want to know that ahead of time. That's a great piece of advice.
Yep. Always scout your location if you can.
That's it.
I think that's it on the questions. So if you are watching via Facebook, please like us or follow us. And if you're watching via Facebook or YouTube, please like and subscribe. And I want to thank everybody for joining us today to learn about the LU800. George, thanks for jumping in with us and giving us the deep dive into the technology. And I'm really excited about it. And if you're excited about it and you want to take a look at it, please reach out to us here at KeyCode. If you have any questions that that pop up later, or we're thinking you didn't want to ask, just reach out to us directly on our website, keycodemedia.com, and we can get those answered for you, or work to get a demo for you. George, thanks for joining us, and everybody have a wonderful day.
Yeah, thank you, and appreciate the time. Take care.